Raoul Pal, the world's leading macro thinker and economist, also founder of the financial TV channel Real Vision. Known to be the world's leading macro thinker, Raoul Pal provides a great depth of knowledge that investors use to navigate markets and provides trade recommendations. As he lives much out of sight from the media, with little known about his personal details, this video tells you all about Raoul Pal's childhood, career, business, his successful pioneered organization, the financial analysis streaming network, Real Vision, and one cannot forget to mention his fervent Bitcoin venture. Simply put, Raoul Pal, a prominent face in the financial world, is an economist, an investment strategist, an entrepreneur, and a former hedge fund manager. Just like Ray Dalio and a few other investors who predicted the 2008-2009 mortgage crisis, so did Pal. So now, let's start with his family and education. He was born to an Indian Punjabi father and a Danish mother in 1968 in the United Kingdom. His mother was from Leeuwarden.
My father's from India, my mother's from Holland. They got married and I grew up in England mainly.
After he graduated from the University of Plymouth, England in 1990 with a degree in economics and law, he took up his first professional work at Dow Jones Tollerite as a sales executive. After a year, he moved to work as a senior executive at James Kaplan Company, which helped him gain experience in European equity derivatives.
I worked in the banking industry selling derivatives to hedge funds, right? So these are the megatrend of finance, the megatrend of derivative, and the megatrend of hedge funds.
And then as a director at NatWest Markets in the equity derivatives sector. By January 1997, he headed the European hedge fund sales at Goldman Sachs, and he also looked over the hedge fund sales business in equities and equity derivatives in Europe. Yet Pal stayed here for a short while as he moved to work as a portfolio manager at a hedge fund firm called GLG Partners. He took over to manage GLG Global Macro Fund for GLG Partners from December 2001 to November 2004. From all these short-term stunts, it just looks that Pal was seeking to achieve something more meaningful rather than to go with a monotonous flow. At the age of 36, Pal retired in 2004 from fund management. Several years of service in the financial sector across geographical boundaries, he had imbibed the expertise of trade, money, and cultural thinking. Now this is where Pal decided to unveil his much thoughtful establishment, Global Macro Investor, in January 2005. It is a macroeconomic and investment strategy publication. To successfully design and execute any global macro strategy, fund managers ought to analyze numerous macroeconomic and geopolitical factors. Through the interpretation of large macroeconomic events based within and beyond borders, and in observing national, regional, and global scale issues, Pal presented investment strategies. Some of the considered factors were political events, interest rates, levels of international trade, currency exchange rates, and international relations. The Global Macro Investor Company helps in developing major frameworks for financial planning and wealth management. It also offers consulting services for risk analysis, strategies, and investment implementation. With the experience of running an effective global hedge fund and counseling the world's eminent hedge funds, Pal's firm drew a lot of attention. He distilled exceptional insights on issues faced by the macro investment industry. Global macro strategies are regularly planned and organized by hedge funds and mutual funds. Funds that employ global macro strategy are the least constrained funds. This means a great opportunity to invest in a wide range of assets worldwide. These global macro strategies are primarily classified on the three main macroeconomic factors, which are, the first one, the currency strategies, second, the interest rate strategies, and third, the stock index strategies. Okay, so what are the global macro funds? Apart from the differences in the implemented strategies, there is one more aspect for this, and that is the global macro funds. These are classified solely by the implementation style of the strategies. The first one is discretionary, where portfolio creation is built on the fundamental scrutiny of fund managers. Termed to be the most flexible type of global macro fund, where the fund managers might use all the types of assets. Secondly, the Commodity Trading Advisor, CTA, where the portfolio is built using price-based and trend-flowing algorithms. Lastly, the assets are determined based on fundamental analysis, but portfolio distribution is concluded based on trading algorithms. Now let's get into this next interesting pioneering project, Real Vision. It is a financial TV channel created in February 2014. This streaming service helps viewers to comprehend financial situations, information, and analysis. It's viewed in his LinkedIn page. The purpose of this channel is as follows, quote, Real Vision is a disruptive financial media brand created to help investors understand the complex world of finance, business, and the global economy with in-depth analysis from real experts, end quote. This unique idea on Real Vision originated while Pal was in Spain in 2013 when he met Grant Williams, a notable and dignified gentleman in the financial realm, and yes, the man behind the reputed financial newsletter, Things That Make You Go, According to Pal, the television companies and other news publishers seem to be helpless to articulate the financial in-depth information, as well as to adapt through the rapidly changing market. Pal suggested to Williams this budding idea, and nearly a year later, with the help of 3 other leaders, Pal and Williams established Real Vision. The channel offers both paid and free content like the Real Vision podcast, or otherwise called the 2020 newsletter. The paid content features expert Q&A sessions, interviews with economists and various hedge fund managers, presentations on various analysis and strategies, breakdowns of various core investment concepts, global business stands, written reports, and more. Making the channel's content as a paid subscription, along with actionable data, seemed too risky in a place where free, bite-sized content with powerful and brilliant headlines was free of charge. Pal responded that, quote, When we started this business, we could have gone the route of BuzzFeed or Business Insider and generated content, gone after advertising dollars and chased the short attention span with the clickbait headlines. When we sought advice, we were told people would not be willing to pay to watch long-form videos. Being contrarians, we decided to offer hour-long conversations on a subscription basis, end quote. Hence, his logical thought to draw a plan which was completely against the industry standard came to be a marvelous hit. He said that, quote, The opportunities always lie where everybody else is not doing something, end quote. So in what instance did Pal make up his mind about this drastic and unique venture? And why did it turn out to be one financial media? He felt that the media's stand through the 2008 financial crisis should have helped the world rather than adding to the existing chaos. Many were hanging on either the abrupt or exaggerated information, with no proper authentic guidance to move into the future. Hence, he wanted to create and provide reliable and relevant financial video content to everyone. He said, quote, The narratives given to the world are often picked by investment banks because they don't want to take you to the darker side of what's going on in the world. There are sites like Zero Hedge where people can see what's really going on, but I saw a need for more truth and balance in finance. That's how our ideas came together, end quote. The most exciting part comes where the video platform brings live strategy calls, research publications, and documentaries. Some of the reputed investors like Kirill Sokoloff, Mike Green, Jim Rogers, Kyle Bass, Stanley Druckenmiller, and many more have featured in their programs. The channel offers different memberships, and the privileged members can stream its videos from the Real Vision website, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, iOS, Android apps, and Roku. At present, he emphasizes that the world is going towards wealth building, but not just by exclusively investing, but by building businesses. He stated that, quote, The highest return on capital right now is not investing, it's building a business. Start businesses, and that will make you money, end quote. Now with all this story, we shall dive into Pal's Bitcoin and Ethereum venture. Pal is a protagonist when it comes to cryptocurrency and also maintains a strong imposing crypto assets portfolio. It's noted among many investors' use of this asset, Pal stands out with more than 50% investment in Bitcoin currency. He defines Bitcoin as, quote, the single best opportunity we're ever going to be given in our lives, end quote.
I was involved since 2012, 2013. Then Mark did, then Dan did. It's just one by one, this migration of people. Then Alan Howard did. Then, all of these people, one by one, just said, this is by far and away the biggest, most exciting opportunity we've ever seen.
By the way, where did all this begin? He has been associated with Bitcoin since its inception, surveying its every outcome. And then he became much involved in 2012. In 2014, along with a conversation with Grant Williams on Real Vision, Pal stated that Bitcoin is worth millions of dollars, and he said, quote, So I said, okay, let's assume it's something like gold. There's a finite amount of it. There's a finite amount that's been mined. The rest is underground. We kind of know how long it's going to take before all the gold is mined or before all the Bitcoins. Put them in the same kind of equation, we get a value of Bitcoin, and that value is $1 million. Now, you'll never hear an analyst say this, but I don't mind this. I could be wrong by 90%, and it's still worth $100,000, end quote. At this point in the interview, the value of Bitcoin was priced at $650. Shortly after this, in 2013, its value peaked at over $900, but then collapsed to sub $250. And then it took 3 years for Bitcoin to reach that similar level. By June 2017, he called it a bubble when its price skyrocketed to 210% since March. That is, within 4 months. In his words, Pal states, quote, "The explosion in the price of Bitcoin is mania. It's people looking for a rate of return. It's in the bubble phase. Bitcoin goes through this periodically. It raises several 100% and then collapses," end quote.
I think it's in the kind of bubble phase, and it goes through this periodically, you know. It rises up several 100%, it collapses, it goes up again, and I think, you know, we're just in that phase now. This is the most exponential move we've seen almost right now.
However, Pal was already on the highway with his large Bitcoin profit. He made 10 times his money and encouraged the strategy, saying, quote, "Now is a good time to get out," end quote. Another facet of this cryptocurrency is the longevity of Bitcoin as a store of value. It was anticipated that only around 21 million Bitcoins would be brought into existence, but in 2017, developers of the crypto community were debating about the hard forking process that would in turn make space to generate more Bitcoins. Accordingly, what's a hard fork in blockchain technology? By definition, it refers to an extensive change to the procedure of a blockchain network that successfully results in 2 branches, one that trails the previous protocol and another one that follows the new version protocol. A hard fork can occur in any crypto technology platform. In this hard fork process, holders of tokens in the original blockchain would be granted tokens in the new fork as well, but miners must choose which blockchain to continue verifying. During the pandemic year, Pal researched the cryptocurrency market even more to understand its position with the current turbulent economic issues. He turned out to be one of the investors who projected that the pandemic would set a massive rippling effect of a major global financial crisis. And though being a Bitcoin advocate, he shared his thoughts on how this blockchain sector may drag the financial world into an unprecedented economic crisis. With this in mind, he reallocated and redesigned his portfolio during the pandemic, as per his earlier confession on the economic and cryptocurrency issues. To make the most out of the pandemic, he steadily enlarged his Bitcoin allocation from 25% to 50%. As he already had hands-on experience for quite some time in the crypto world, he was able to take this bold move. Pal labeled Bitcoin as the single best opportunity we're ever going to be given in our lives. Once again, in October 2020, Pal recapped his stand on Bitcoin investments, stating that Bitcoin will hit $1 million in 5 years. By that time, 50% of Pal's capital was invested in Bitcoin. Pal labeled Bitcoin the best chance for the median person to drastically increase their economic prospects, and also, it's the life raft for investors. So what's Pal's stand regarding Ethereum? In early 2021, he said, quote, "Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin by almost 2 times and is driven by the exact same mechanism, a great narrative, the platform for programmable money, and, obviously, Metcalfe's law," end quote.
Metcalfe's law basically values the network on the number of nodes on the network, and they're basically that number of connections between the nodes.
On November 30th, 2020, Pal broadcasted that he would sell all his gold and buy Bitcoin and Ethereum at 80-20.
I'm even toying with the idea of selling my gold to buy Bitcoin, more Bitcoin.
Wow.
Since then, 98% of his liquid net worth has been converted into cryptocurrency. So far, there are no sources that share Pal's total net worth in any media. Now, apart from all this, did you know that back in 2008, Pal helped design the British reality television series $1 Million Traders for BBC TV? Through this platform, he educated the participants on investments and risk management strategies. Well, one could see this also could have catalyzed his dream to start the Real Vision financial TV channel. At present, what about his family life? He is happily married to Anush Pal, an applied behavioral analyst. And guess what? She is also an entrepreneur. She is the founder and a clinical case manager of Cayman ABA, a child healthcare center. The objective is focused on transforming the quality of life for autistic children and other development delays by helping them with applied behavior analyst, ABA therapy. She has extensive work experience of more than 12 years with such affected children. Finally, how can I follow Pal to know his real-time thoughts and opinions? Yes, he is an active tweeting gentleman, and since 2014, he has had a massive roundtable membership of over 808,000 followers on Twitter as of last December 2021. That's all for now. Come back for more news on other financial experts and investors. Have a nice day.